Hey everybody, this is the Tea Time with Tara show. I am Tara M. Williams. Today joining us we have Nariah Moorer.
Hello.
Thank you for being here with us
No
today. You
problem.
guys, Nariah is our youngest guest so far, but isn't she cute? Okay.
You know,
So
you know.
so thank you for being here today. First of all, how are you doing?
I'm doing, I'm moving along. It's a couple things that got me a little shooken up, but you just got to keep
Okay.
pushing,
Are
be
you going to tell
positive.
us about that when we get talking?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as you guys know, we ask our guests, what do you need along the way on your
Mhm.
journey to stalking your destiny? And Nariah told us that what she needs is identity.
Mhm.
That's important on her journey. And x ray, which we also know as looking within.
Mhm.
Okay. And so I'll be back with an icebreaker question. In the midst of what she's telling us, I'll ask you an icebreaker question randomly,
Okay.
what that is. And you guys can chime down below in the comments and let us know, your answer to the icebreaker question. You can also let us know what you need along your way to stalking your journey as well. So, why did you choose identity and looking within or x
Mhm.
ray?
So, like you said, I am the youngest on the show, and with me being about to turn 20 in May 1st. Um, it's a lot of things I haven't experienced in life, but I still feel like I don't have a sense of self and like
Okay.
knowing who and what. Like, it's hard for me to just be off the top of my head, like, I like these things, or I can see myself doing these things. And
Mm-hmm.
as soon as I graduated high school, I tried to go into college, but I felt like I don't know. I'm 18, fresh out of high school. I don't know what I want to be right now. I'm just like, okay, I got to figure it out first. And then if I want to transition back to college, I can. But for right now, I just need to figure out life because you don't learn life in school. They don't teach you that. So I'm like, let me experience life for myself firsthand without anybody telling me it's going to be like this because you can get everybody's opinions, but like you got to have your own opinions about things. So college. I was like, I'm gonna just hold off on that. Like I was trying to go to school for veterinarian and stuff like that. I really like animals. And then I was like, I don't know. And then so many things have been coming in my path. Like I
Mm-hmm.
was like, ooh, real estate is interesting. Ooh, being a psychotherapist is interesting. And I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
I can't be all of those things at once. I'm going to be in school literally forever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to work my way through that being so young and not taking everybody's opinions and like trying to make my life into their life. And
Right.
it's difficult, but I'm making it slowly
Okay.
but surely.
Yeah, and then I mean, just like you said, most kids that actually do go to college don't know why they're there.
Nope.
It's just the thing that they're taught to do
Mm-hmm.
is to okay, when you graduate high school, you've got to go to college, or you've got to go to the military, or you've got to get a job.
Yep.
And so then life will have its way.
Mm-hmm.
With you. But some people that do go to college, I didn't go directly out of high school, even though I planned on it.
Mm-hmm.
A life set me back, so I had to learn a life lesson even right
Yeah.
there. That life happened, and I didn't get to go directly out of high school. I went a semester later,
Gotcha.
um, and so life set me back in that way. And I don't think it set me back, but it was a different type of experience.
Yep.
And so what I learned or realized in college is that even if you know what you want to do in college,
Mm-hmm.
you still change your mind.
Oh, many times.
Because you're like you said, you're underdeveloped in terms of like just high school is doing what you're told to do
Yep.
by your teachers and your parents.
Mm-hmm.
College is making a decision on what do you want to dedicate yourself
It's a
to.
bigger step, most definitely. It felt like I went from Pampers to being a teenager, and I was like, oh my god, like I don't have my I was for anybody listening and watching, I went to Arizona State for a semester and I was in a totally different state. Didn't know anybody. I was with my godparents, but I didn't have my mom and I didn't have my siblings. I didn't have like anybody that I really knew, and I just kind of felt like stuck because it's like I would go through certain things like anxiety, depression, and all that stuff, but I didn't have my immediate support circle with me. So I
Right.
couldn't feel like I couldn't talk to my godparents about that because I'm like, I don't know how they are with that. And I felt alone being in a different state. And I was like, maybe I just need to backtrack just a tad bit and just try to get an understanding of everything. And it gets hard, but it gets easier, and then it gets hard, and then it gets easier, and it's just like a cycle of like just trying to figure it out. But it's good that I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and then you made mention of multiple interests.
Hmm.
Okay, and then so excuse me, everybody, I am very stuffy and congested. So if you hear my weird noises, I apologize. Okay, I'm trying to breathe. Okay, make it through
Allergy
this.
season.
Oh my goodness. But you made mention of various, different interests.
Hmm.
And so one of the things as a coach that I let people know, and maybe you guys can chime in, like what are things you thought you were going to do versus the things you find yourself interested in now.
Hmm.
Comment below on that type of stuff. What is it you thought you were going to do versus what you are doing? Because I think I made mention in one of my previous episodes
Hmm.
that you like what you want to become as a child you don't necessarily become as an
Yep.
adult, and you kind of move away from that.
Hmm.
But then in life as well, we live so long, like yes, we know life is short, but you get a chance to live a different life.
Hmm.
Like people say, you only live once, and I feel like you
You
don't. You
you
can
live
live
every day.
multiple lives in one lifetime.
Yep.
And so if you wanted to change what you're doing every decade, you literally could change what you're doing, because the 9 to 5 30-year career,
Hmm.
that's changed now.
Yep.
That there's no real security in that, for this type of generation that we're in now.
Yeah.
And so how do you feel about, like, what made you look within?
Uh oh, that is a
The
good
X-ray, you
question.
all. The
Yeah, the
X-ray.
X-ray. That is a good question. I always thought you have to give credit to yourself before anybody because without you, you don't really have anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through a period in Arizona and I started journaling like every day. I'm also very forgetful, so I was like, this will help me. This will help me a lot. But I started journaling and I started realizing like the patterns with myself that I couldn't necessarily just see,
Yeah.
but me looking back, and I have a journal from 2021 and I look back and I'm like, whoa, like that's a totally different person from
Right.
what I am now. And with me being like 18, even though it's like it's been a year, it's been like a drastic change on like how mature I've become. And a lot of people will tell me that. I will go to work and they're like, you're 19, I thought you were like 22. And I'm like, no. They're like, you're so mature. And I'm just like, it's just the way of my thinking and the way I've realized that I got to start thinking about myself and start doing things for myself, because at the end of the day, it's kind of just me in my head.
Would you contribute it to also like how you grew up in
Yeah.
terms of like
Oh,
responsibility?
most
And
definitely.
for you all who don't know, she is the product of a teen mom.
Hmm.
So would you contribute it to, like, all the work you've seen, your mom do, and then all the things you had to do or wanted to do in terms of like helping her because
Hmm.
you saw all that?
Yeah. So, like she said, I am a product of teen pregnancy, and I always thought to myself, like, even though my mom did great and a lot of people praise her for that, I just don't want to be a teen mom. As far as like, it's a struggle being a teen mom. Like, you haven't even experienced like a whole lot yet, and to be able to bring a child in this world and trying to figure it out yourself, it can be, I'm pretty sure it can be very, very stressful. But I also have two younger siblings, four, it's a long story. I live with two of my younger siblings, and
From
growing,
your mom's side.
yes, from my mom's side, and growing up, my mom had to do a lot, and I had to be like not necessarily the second parent, but I had a lot of responsibility being the oldest. And I think that is where most of my maturity comes from as well, because I'm like, okay, I want my siblings to have this stuff. Like, I literally just brought my brother some shoes because I'm like, my sister got all the Jordan, she got all that
Yeah.
stuff. But I feel like there are certain things that I'm not necessarily obligated to do, but I just need to do with being the oldest and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So, when you, not just your maturity with your looking within, but what things did you learn about yourself on your journey? Where you made, looking within a priority, especially because it goes in conjunction with your identity.
Hmm.
So, what things did you see in your behavior patterns, or even in that process of journaling, that brought you to, like who you are or who you want to be,
Hmm.
even as you continue to define what you want to do in life?
The way I handle situations is a big one. I would look back at my journal at like an argument I would have with somebody, and I'm like, "Ooh, the way I handled that was like pretty bad." And
Excuse
with me working with kids on the spectrum and people with cerebral palsy, you have to have patience, like
me.
a
Yeah.
lot of patience. And my job is gotta have a lot of patience, guys.
Yeah.
And I had to realize like not everyone around you is going to know your situation, and I can't just like lash out on people all the time cuz how their day went is not how my day went, and I just had to realize that. But
Let me see. Let's see the icebreaker question. I haven't gotten there yet. We're coming to the icebreaker question, you all. Okay. So, why is it important for you to have an identity as you are on this journey? Why is that important to you to know who you are, even as you seek to find the better you or the higher version of you?
Um, because it's a image that will not, I'm not saying this because I think like other people's opinions like matter or
Matter. Uh
anything
huh.
like that, but I care about me.
Right.
And I care about like if I'm upholding a certain standard for myself, I need everybody else to know this standard of
Okay.
me. And I take a big liking on people just like, oh my gosh, she's, like I said, my coworkers are like, she is very mature. And I'm just like, yeah, I appreciate that. And that could probably feed into like an ego or something, but
Well, you need that.
yeah, you do need that. But that helps me like just get going. I'm like, okay, they think that. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
If what I'm doing can help like my sister farther down the line, then that's going to be great because that is
Mhm.
somebody that looks up to me, and I don't want to be that person that's just like doing whatever and she sees that and thinks is okay, because I really care about my
And you
siblings.
want to set that tone.
Yeah, I do want to set that tone, and I think that's where the um instead of the opinions, it's like setting that tone, and especially for other people that are 19 years old. I've met some 19-year-olds and I'm like, whoa, like that's
What would you want to tell them,
um
the younger people that may see this?
be yourself. And I know people say that, and I know it's like kind of cliche and corny, but I never understood, and especially if you are black in St. Louis, it is okay to be outside of a black standard, black norm, or whatever it is. Because I, I'm young, I have TikTok, and there would be girls on there who are outside of the black girl norm, where she has like uh, colorful hair, she's emo, she's this, she that. I seen a girl on there who loved country music. She had a big old like country bell, like cowgirl boots, and people were in the comments like, "Oh, she's brainwashed, she's whitewashed," and I'm like, "But you don't know. She probably grew up in the middle of Utah." Like
Right.
that's just like what her environment was and what she has been around and what she likes. Like, we bring each other down sometimes, and I'm
Oh,
like,
that's a lot in the
yeah,
black community. It's actually a lot. I had someone today gave me a fake middle name, and he was just making a joke,
okay.
and gave me a fake middle name that sounded like an old woman, and I
Mm,
was like, "No, my name is Tara Monique, Williams."
mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Not Monique. You ain't black." And I was like, "Wait a minute, that's my real middle name."
Oh, jeez.
Like I said, that's my real middle name. And not to mention, I went to the Melville School District for the
Mm-hmm.
first 4 years of school, first through fourth grade, Melville School District. So I never had a black card,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think it's very important that you're telling, especially young black people, and I would say people because men and women, young boys and girls,
Mm-hmm.
or young men and young women, that be true to you, because 9 times out of 10, the people that want you to be like them are going nowhere.
Yeah.
And they don't know who they are, and you probably inspired them with your free spirited, ness about yourself.
Mhm.
Um, because I know you,
Yep.
so I can say you set a tone for people your age.
Yep.
Even not being in college, you're not lacking education
Yep.
because you read a lot, don't you?
I do. I do a
Yeah.
lot.
And I mean, so you are mature because, and y'all, let me be clear about this, okay? Education can happen in or outside of the classroom. You
Mhm.
have to experience life in order to be educated. You have to read books, whether you are in a classroom or
Or
not. And then you
not.
have to apply that knowledge no matter where you are as well. Because you can go to college, like Kanye West said, people graduate college and still be stupid.
Yep.
You know, that happens for a lot of people. No disrespect to you all that have degrees and think that you are the shit.com. That's okay too. However, there are most people that don't absorb who they truly are
Mhm.
in that time. And then there are others who go to college and really do experience themselves. Like, I went to school and I thought like I knew me. And it wasn't even about the experience. Like, the college experience was amazing and fun for me. But the thing that held me back from finding myself truly was trauma.
Yep.
And with that trauma, uh, I wasn't my best self, And even today, this is not the best version of me. This is the better version of me.
Yep.
But I'm better for my college experience. I'm better for the PTSD. I'm better for navigating life and dropping out of college. Okay. I get to coach people that have degrees and they know I never graduated. So be true to yourself. It is very important that you be true to yourself. And I guess the thing that, y'all, we don't really have an icebreaker question because she said a lot that I don't have to really ask her an icebreaker question. But what would you want your message to be, in terms of you saying, like, okay, well, I'm on this journey and my identity is important to me. I want to set the tone and I want to keep looking within. So, what message do you want to leave everyone with um, in terms of, what you're doing or where you're going?
Step by step. You're not going to get there within a day or next week. It took me a long time to realize that. And looking back at my journals, I had to realize, like, even the span of like just a year or 2 years, like you said, I am my better self.
Yeah.
I'm not my best self. I am my better self. And I patience. Progress is slow. And that's okay. And that's another thing I had to realize. I realized a lot reading
Okay.
those journals, and that progress is slow.
It is because you have to go one day at a time.
Mhm.
Like Creed, you have to go one step at a time, one punch at a time, one round at a time. And so with life, you take it as the day comes because you can get very overwhelmed
Yep.
by, if you read too much of your own journal, you can get caught up in that mentality
Yep.
or that situation you were in at that point and get stuck
Mhm.
there. So it's good that you take it slow and also digest it slowly
Yep.
too, to apply it.
Yeah. Get very overwhelming if you're um trying to digest that, and like you sit back and you're like, "Oh, I could have done this differently." And it's like I have friends that come to me when they need some help because I'm like the friend therapist of the group. And my boyfriend does that as well, and I'm just like, it's okay, go slow. You can't necessarily go back, but you can worry about the present and the now and then try to figure that out and move forward from there. But all you're going to have to do is accept and move on. But don't forget.
Right.
Don't forget, because forgetting is not going to do anything, because you're just going to regret, regret, regret. And
Right.
that's not good at all.
Okay, so if they want to follow you, connect with you, if you're going to be inspiring people more,
Inspiring people.
I'm so stuffy. I'm so sorry, y'all. Uh, how can they find you or support whatever you have going on?
Yeah, so I don't have like a lot of social media. I got like the typical like teenage social media,
Okay.
TikTok, Twitter, Instagram kinda. So my socials are like all over the place. They have like different names, all of them.
Well, what do you actually want to share
Um,
for people to just go to? You can share just send people to
Actually,
one or
I'll share my Instagram. So my Instagram is MJ's Medium, MJS Medium, Medium.
so is it any underscores or anything in there? It's just straight MJS medium.
Yep.
Okay. And then what about the podcast that you have? Did you want to share that
Yes.
information?
Okay. So I do have a podcast with my mom. We rebranded,
Okay.
but I can't think of the rebrand name right
Oh.
now because
Well, you can share it on your
I
Instagram
can share it on my Instagram.
when you launch it again. You can share it
Yeah.
on your
So
Instagram.
the name at first was called
Legacy laughs
Labs.
and laughs and legacies.
It was just
Legacy
Legacy
laughs.
Labs
Legacy
with,
laughs.
I don't even think we had our names on it.
No, it was
Oh,
just
that's really bad, guys. I'm
you
sorry.
didn't have your name on it.
But
Legacy laughs. Yeah.
yeah. So it's a podcast with me and my mom, and we talk about a lot of things with teen pregnancy. And it's very rare, I think, to have like a mom and a daughter sit down and talk about basically growing up together. And we
Yeah.
talk about her perspective of life and then my perspective of life, her being a millennial and me being a Gen Z.
Yeah.
And we come to like a lot of agreements, and then we come to a lot of disagreements, but that's just how we see things. And it's really cool. We did recently do a 314 St. Louis.
Oh gosh. You have to do a dance
And
challenge?
that's no, no,
Oh,
no.
just
That
a
was just the
episode?
pot.
Okay.
Yeah, we that's where we figured out the rebrand because I had a work schedule that was 3 to 10. It's like almost every day. And I came in the house, I was kind of sleepy, but then I started talking to my mom, and then she was like, "Let's record." And I'm like, okay. And then we started talking about like the history of St. Louis. I forgot how we got on the topic of even like
Uh-huh.
trying to record, but we were talking about something with St. Louis, and we started recording, and it was just majority of like St. Louis stuff. And I was like, we could drop this on 314 day. And she was
Mhm.
like, that's great. I was like, yeah. But the rebrand came from me coming in the middle of the night and having, because we would never have any time. She
Yeah.
would be working throughout the day, I would be working throughout the day and night, and I'm like, the only time we actually sit and talk is at 10:30 at night.
Right. So it was an authentic flow.
Yeah, so we were both like kind of sleepy, just giggling and laughing, legacy laughs, and that's where the rebrand came from. And I'm really happy we figured out and shifted that in the middle of the night it's going to be the best time because flowing,
Yeah,
getting off
everything's raw.
work, yeah. So yeah, legacy laughs, everybody. We actually do have a Facebook legacy laughs.
Group, right?
Yes. Yeah, it should be a group, and it's actually on Spotify as well as Legacy Laughs. So,
So all major platforms.
yep.
So, did you have any final things you wanted to say or share?
This may be like may take us to a
It's
into
okay.
another conversation, but I think another part of trying to figure out my identity and looking within is religion.
Okay.
That is something that I struggle with like my entire life. But that's where a lot of like things came from, a lot of questions, trying to like, why am I here? Why am I even here? Why am I? And it kind of drove me crazy trying to figure out why I was here. And I didn't want like a, nothing against anybody and their religions, but I didn't want like
Excuse me.
a filler place like I'm here because God put me here. I just feel like that's a little to me. And so when I started um going more into like spirituality and thinking about like energy and giving myself more credit as if like I kind of make the things happen in my life, I started becoming a little bit better, and that's how my journey started to get better.
So accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know with what you're saying, for those of you who identify with Christ or God, because this is Tea Time with Tarah, and it is business and Bible basics. Um, the non-religious, I would say, way that we believe is that we know that God lives on the inside of us,
Yeah.
and so He gives us free will to make decisions. And so, like you said, the more you learn about yourself and what works for you and what does not work for you, God honors each of us by our heart, not by the religious standards or
Yeah.
traditions or what people teach necessarily in the churches, um, but by our heart and our own faith and and our decisions and the paths we take. Not to say that, oh, we just do whatever the heck
Right.
we want to do. There is a standard, but the standard, and this is my opinion, y'all. I am not a pastor. I am not anything in terms of doctrinated or certified anything. This is my opinion. Uh, but God gives us that free will, but the power is always in us, to make a decision. And if we honor the God inside of us, we're really honoring ourselves, because they
Yep.
say, that God is, our body is a temple, but our body's the temple because it embodies God as well. And the way we honor God is to honor what He gave us. And so He gave you a mind of your own. He gave you a heart of your own. He gave you a body of your own to honor that. And so as you honor that unto the Lord, that you're just finding yourself.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I'll say this for you because I'm close to you, so I feel like I can say it. Whether you know it or not, God loves you.
Yeah.
But whether you claim a religion, even Jesus said he's not religious. Okay, that's not what He's here for. And if we want to say any religion in terms of spirituality or anything like that, love is the greatest power, energy, vibration on
Yeah.
earth. And the Bible tells us to love each other as we love ourselves. If you don't love yourself, though, how can you give that love out?
Yep.
And how can you figure out who you are if you don't love on yourself? And so that's the Bible basics I'm gonna give y'all today. To not be preaching, to let you know that you're finding yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. You have to find yourself. Everywhere you go, there you are.
Yep.
And so even if you were to claim no traditional man-made religion, you are still made of, God. I will not say that for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, because the Bible separates that too. So I won't say that for everyone, but just know as you go along your way, the more you honor yourself, you are honoring God, because I know you, so I know you're not a selfish type of person. I know you give a lot of love, you have a lot of love, but you do have to give that to yourself.
Yep.
And then, because you pour out a lot to others, you are really giving. So you've got to pour that into you too if you're going to, because, I lost my identity. So I had to learn these things too about myself and about my relationship with God as well. I didn't think God was anywhere away from me because I did grow up in the church. Um, but I still had to know, what does that mean for me? And that's the point where I asked God, well, when I lost my identity, I was like, well, who am I? And where am I? And why am I here? And where am I supposed to be? And so that's how Stalk Your Destiny came about: identity, direction, accountability. So it starts with you.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you for being a guest today.
No problem.
This is an amazing show, y'all. It's so much more, but we both we lost our train of thought, and I can't breathe. So, so, so just chime in below, put your comments below. Whatever you have concerns, or if you want to just share your own story, be sure to just put that in the comments. This is a no judgment zone here, and remember that you have a voice and it needs to be heard. And I'll say this too: everything you want to become, you already are. So keep stalking your destiny. I am Tara M. Williams. This is the Tea Time with Tara show. Until next time. Put things in their proper place. And when you put things in their proper place, then you're able to see how much more time you have to focus on other things. And if your professional life, if your business life, if you're trying to make a life for yourself, if those things are not in order, then stop rushing to the comfort of a dependent person. Stop rushing to lean on someone else if you are not taking care of your own situation, your own life. And that's a really, really big distraction because we all want and need the social connection in terms of another person, in terms of love and endearment, those types of things, companionship. We need those things, but put them in proper place. And there's a saying, I think I've said it before: do what you have to do so that you can do what you want to do.